what do you think would make a good offer? A good offer meaning the right price, or how do you know something's a good offer?
Has the right value to the customer.
What's that?
Has the right value to the customer.
So right value to the customer, awesome, we got the customer in there. How about it has the right profit margin for you, right? Like it has all the costs built in. Because we see pricing all the time where not everything's built in that should be there. If you're going to use sales reps, your sales commission is probably going to be somewhere between 5% and 15%. Food items, it'll be at the high end. Skincare will be at the high end. You have to build that into your wholesale pricing so that you know you actually have profit margin at the end of the day, right? So for us, when we're working with a product, we don't recommend going below 42% profit margin. It's a little tougher in a handmade product, okay? But still, you have to make sure you have enough profit margin because that's how you're gonna get your sales reps. And that's how you can get showrooms to look at what you're doing too, okay? So the other point about this is to think about your product. If it's a technology or an item, sometimes you can actually sell it in another channel. If it's a food, you can also sell it in another channel. Like maybe you would look at hospitality suites, cross-pollinate, okay? So we can talk more about it if you'd like. The fourth thing is good delivery and operations. This goes to get comfortable with numbers and get a team, okay? And when I say get a team, it can be your teenage child is going to help you with doing the follow-up or your social media. There's a lot of different ways to get a team that don't have to be incredibly expensive that can be very effective for you, okay? Let's see. The right level of insurance for product liability is really important if you're going to sell in larger volumes. So with baby products, if you are going to sell in Target, and you're going to ramp up to that and scale your business and your designs to do that, then you need product liability insurance as part of that. So it's an operational thing to keep in mind. And the limits on the product liability insurance depend on the category and what retailer and how you're selling and all of those pieces. How many of you are women-owned business or minority-owned business? Awesome. If you are a woman or minority-owned business, for most major corporations, there is actually a supplier diversity program that has a separate bucket of money to pay you to buy product. Yeah, kind of cool, right? Who likes that idea? Separate bucket of money that they can buy things from, okay? So you do have to be at least a 51% women-owned or minority-owned business to take advantage of that, but it's pretty good. Like it's actually awesome. Walmart does it, Target does it, CVS, Rite Aid, you name it. Okay, one of the big things about good operations and good delivery is can you deliver on what you promised, right? So what's your lead time, and don't make it crazy. If you have a long lead time, be straight with people when you take a large order. It's kind of simple. If your lead time is 90 days, 120 days, that's normal. Don't think you have to turn it around in 30 days. You don't, okay? Most of the major grocery chains and the specialty stores, they have a product in the spot where yours is going to go. So that's the good news because that gives you time to produce it. Cool? And then one of the big things is be on time with your commitments. If you're about good delivery and good operations, it means being on time with your delivery. And if you absolutely can't be in communication in advance. Yeah.
You could probably speak to this too. So I just want to add, especially for small makers who are just delving into the realm of wholesale and this level of sales and taking orders, never forget that you are in control. Do not be pressured to take on an order that you cannot fulfill. Do not be pressured into a time frame that you know you cannot create product for. When we take people to the summer shows and have them pitching for holiday sales, we are really clear with everyone about understanding your own boundaries and your own ability to produce so that you can execute at a high level. So
Exactly, so that you keep the reputation that you're going to need. And you know what's really beautiful about that is it's all negotiable. That's one of the things about keeping your soul portion of it. Write it down at the bottom. It's all negotiable. Everything. Delivery timelines, how big the order is, how many stores you go into, whether you're doing a test order, all of that, even where you are in the store is negotiable. That's awesome. So you get to actually say what would be ideal for you. And they may say, well, no, we're not going to do that way. We're going to do it this way. And you say yes or no, right? But keep in mind that the boundaries that Shauna is talking about is related to the keep your soul part. And to know what you can do and what's going to freak you out in an unproductive way. Freaking you out in an unproductive way is my definition of losing your soul. Okay? Now that doesn't mean don't back from the, if you have a challenge, don't back down because you're scared. You put on, your big person clothes and you go do it, right? If it's meant for you and you keep in action, okay? So the keeping your soul is know your values, know your numbers, have a sense of humor. It is not going to go perfectly. It just won't. And actually most businesses, including like Dollar Shave Club, Michael Durbin, we were talking, he was at an event that I was at. And some of his favorite times have been when stuff went sideways, like really sideways, okay? So keep your sense of humor. One of the big tips about selling and keeping your soul is to match your communication style with your customer, whoever it is you're talking to. If it's in an email and you're writing essays and they reply with like 4 sentences, you're writing too much, okay? So you need to match it to how they prefer to be communicated with. If they're going factual and you're like all fluff and romance about how awesome the product is, they actually are throwing a buying signal to you when they're talking numbers. That's the other thing. Don't back down from talking numbers, because if somebody's talking numbers, they're serious. They're in buying mode. When they start saying, well, how much would it be if I buy da-da-da? Or, well, when could you deliver blah, 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 blah? They're interested. And you go, great, and just do your best to keep your cool at that moment and not go, yay, they're interested, okay? Because at the inside, totally good to do that. It happens. So the other piece that I would say about keeping your soul is to take a step back, to have a healthy amount of detached energy, okay? So do you want me to say what I mean by that? A healthy amount of detachment? Okay, if I'm in my business and I'm like, I have to make this work, this has to work, I have to get this deal, and I'm standing in front of you to sell, what do you think I'm doing? I'm doing, what do you think he's getting? Desperation, okay? A healthy sense of detachment is, don't get your self-worth attached to your business worth, okay? It's a really big, tough lesson sometimes when we've created it out of nothing. I mean, I started my business from the ground up, right? And so I had to learn this, that a healthy amount of detachment is good because it lets me see the business as a separate thing, and a separate entity that has its own needs and that is meant to serve people. So it gives you a perspective that I think is really important. So keep your sense of detachment and stay in the game at the same time. It's an act of mastery. It's a personal mastery for it. So the last piece I would say is to get comfortable with numbers. How many of you love numbers? Awesome. Yeah, I'm like the rest of you. I made a horrific mistake in my business, which was I thought I'm smart, I can learn software, I'm smart, I can do it, I'll learn QuickBooks. Oh my God, what was I thinking? I mentioned at the beginning, didn't I, that I'm an art school grad, originally a painting major? How many of you would say, yeah, the painting major should be doing the bookkeeping. Like, nobody, right? But no, I'm smart because I didn't have the budget, or so I thought, at the beginning of the business to hire somebody to do it. By the time I went through that, of it never getting done on time or well, and all the stress of that, to having the right, what I thought was the right bookkeeper, and her not understanding what it was I needed and me not knowing how to talk to her, and then finding the CFO after a year and a half of that, and then the CFO having to basically do forensic work, which is, you know, go in and deconstruct like 3 years worth of stuff. I asked him after that process, I said, hey Steve, how much would it have been for me to just hire you from the beginning to do it right? And he said it would have been about $6,000. I said, awesome. He goes, how much have you spent so far? He goes, I want you to own the number. So even though he knew the number, he wanted me to say it. $16,000. It was 16 grand. I paid an extra 10 grand because I'm smart and I can figure it out. What a, silly thing. So I've never made the same mistake. And when I speak, I almost always share it because I don't want you to make that mistake, you know? So if there's something that's not your brilliance, you do need to become conversant with it. You can't just throw it over the fence at somebody. You're a business owner. You have to be conversant with it, but you do not have to be the doer, okay? There's a couple of things that I want to offer here in closing. And number one, I do a show every other Monday. It's the Product Business Show, and we answer live questions. We also broadcast it on Facebook. So if you're interested in that, there's a paper up here with more information on how you can get connected about that. And then I also am so thrilled to be talking to business. I love product business. I'm one of these people, you show me a product, I'm gonna be like, hey, so what are you doing with that? How do you want to have that? I want to talk to you about your business. There's no obligation at all. It is our gift to you. It's a 45-minute consult. And at the end of that discovery conversation, we make sure that you always have at least 1 to 3 action items you can do from right where you are, no matter if you work with us, don't work with us, work with some, I just want to serve people. Because this is what I'm on the planet to do, is exactly what we do with products. So if you're interested in that, there's information up here on how you can get connected. If you don't want to do that, you just want to watch some videos about how to build a product business, we have those on our website. You can binge watch the whole thing in 9 minutes. So that's available, and that's all free, and the Product Business Show is free as well. So the other thing that I wanted to just mention is that we're doing a workshop on building product businesses. It will be free, and it will be here, and it's going to be on October 17th. So you're welcome to join us for that. I'll make sure that Fran and Shauna get the information. If you are on the Product Business Show reminders list, you'll hear about that as well. It is part of the Connect Pasadena events. So we're doing a bunch of things about product design, building a business, pricing, how to demystify pricing is probably where we'll be in that. So does anybody have a question? Scaling your business, tough sales conversation you need to have, booth layout. I've done booth layout for 16 years on different things, like how do you do and what do you do?
Booth layout is great.
It's a great one? Okay, so booth layout, a couple cliff note, real quick things for you. Always leave the width of a person carrying a shopping bag in each hand between any items in your booth. So that means that I would never put tables closer than this inside a booth. Because if you put it closer than this, there's no psychological space, so people won't walk in, okay? There's a lot of things you can do on layout. I'm happy to talk about your specific booth during the discovery call. I'm sure Fran and Shauna can address some of this too, but if that's where you want to be, totally good to have that conversation. There's a lot, yeah.
I think there's 2 big things that I see most often, that I see more and more often, that I just want to out loud address for people. One is you need to use the vertical space.
Yes.
You have to. If you place things on a table and just leave them on a table, even if you use crates to stack, it's not enough. You need to utilize the vertical space within your space. So think about what's going down on the ground doesn't need to be a particularly amazing quality image. Even something off of Instagram can get printed out at a reasonably good size.
Well, I do
particularly
big,
for small items.
sorry to interrupt, I do like big wall embroidery frame pieces, right? So ideally, I'd love to have a wall and like put them all up and have like create
Go on.
like room. But it's, I do everything myself.
Right.
I don't have a partner, I don't, you know, like.
Task
It's
rabbit.
hard.
Yeah.
Task rabbit. Seriously, I'm not joking.
Yeah.
I'm
I know how to
re-
use power tools and stuff, like I can build this, but then I
Yeah.
have to make
Yeah.
this like this.
But I think that,
So-
yeah, I was gonna say, I think Shauna was gonna just speak to this. I think that exactly what I just heard you say, that I do everything myself.
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of our makers and our favorite artisans find themselves stuck. Because in order to get all of the things done, you literally cannot do them all yourself.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out what's possible to hand off to a mostly skilled person, and you have to learn how to communicate your expectations to that person.
Yeah.
And that's the key piece.
And then you have like have a budget to pay them. You know, it's hard. Like I'm just
Well,
starting,
here,
so like
can I-
money is an issue. Yeah, like,
I'm just going to jump in here for a second
Yeah.
because I've done the bootstrapped business. We have clients that have done bootstrapped business. We've done large scale business, like the whole spectrum. So I think that there is the moment that you have to sit down and think through what gives you leverage, right? What gets you out of the doing it all yourself, and pace yourself about it. It's not that you're going to swallow that whole thing in one gulp. It's more that you do the photos and you do one that looks great and you put that on a foam core and you take really good care of that foam core, and the next show you do another one, right? You can leap into doing a lot. We've done some booth things that literally cost $200 and people were told, like, I'm thinking of one client in particular, I was in her booth. It cost $200 to do her booth at the Natural Products Expo for decor and everything that was happening in the booth. She got asked, so how long have you been exhibiting? You know, I haven't seen your product before. This is amazing, blah, 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 blah. That was her first show ever of any